Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Doing well. I can hear you.
How are you? My office is a bit of it's a drone office and a work office. How's it going?
I can see you now. Doing well. How are you doing?
I can't complain. Just spent the whole day and past few days getting ready for this hurricane. It's going to hit us pretty much head on. So
you're going to get blasted. You boarding up your windows and everything?
Well, we have Impact that handles up to 185 miles per hour in the townhome community that I live in, so it should be fine.
Yeah,
but,
you should.
Time will only tell.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's we're hearing all about it over here in Kentucky, and my friends in California were talking to me about it. I still keep in contact with them, and boy, you guys are gonna get the hammer here pretty soon.
Yeah, that's the one thing about Florida. It's beautiful, but we're known for the hurricanes coming over from the ocean here. So
yeah, something else. All right, Sergio, but listen, it's good to meet you in person. It's
likewise.
I'm glad that we're able to video chat. It's nice to match a face with the name.
Yeah. Sorry
for echo.
The scrubbly look here. It's been a crazy past week. I haven't even had the time to shave, but yeah, it's a pleasure to use the technology to meet someone. It's pretty much how I work with my entire team is video conference.
Oh, good. Yeah, we did it measurably at my last company, so I'm completely comfortable with that. So listen, appreciate the information you've given me. I know you're giving me a call to give me a little bit more detail about things. So things look kind of good on my end. I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I have some options when it comes to a home office. Not in my home office right now because my home office is being redesigned by my interior decorator, aka the wifey. So she's like, "Go downstairs. It's not done yet." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm going downstairs." So over here, and so you've answered a lot of my questions when it comes to most of these things. Looks like you're running. You got your hands in a couple different boxes, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's all, basically from the power of search engine marketing, though. That's my specialty, and I leverage that to help clients. I used to work at a fairly sized search engine kind of specialty marketing company like 10, 11 years ago, before Google was smart enough to regulate how websites can rank organically. Pretty easy back then. You could just hire a company in India for $50 a month and you would rank for pretty much any keyword on the top of Google.
Mm-hmm.
So I was riding that train at a company doing, project management for about 2 years. It was right around 2011-ish that Google made a few major algorithm updates and started attacking websites that used the techniques that all SEO guys were using at the time.
Is that right? So, I know they're making a big deal out of mobile now.
Well, it's a lot now. It's really complex now. It's not just a few factors. It's hundreds of factors. And, being mobile friendly is definitely one of the top priorities. But site speed, security, having a structured navigation, unique product descriptions if you're doing e-commerce, those are kind of some of the core, things that you want to do with the website.
Yeah.
And over the last, decade or so, working on so many different clients' accounts and starting this little lead gen website, which was at first just an idea while I was working at the marketing company that was tanking when the algorithm update took place. So I basically just created this domain, the MiamiSEOcompany.com, and a year later I was getting calls left and right because there's a lot of businesses in Miami and people look for SEO all the time.
Yep. Yeah, I run RadioControlClassifieds.com. I've had that for about a year, but I haven't done anything with it because I was moving to the South, and I had a lot going on. And before I actually launch it out there, I needed to put 100% into it. So I just kind of keep it in the background for now. I just don't do, like I said, I need to. It's cost me more money than you know, I haven't made any money off it. It's cost me more money, but it's something which, you know, will be, you know, maybe a little bit later on. But, you know, I've kind of dipped my way into, you know, something that had I've had Radio Control Classifieds URL and website. I don't have the actual website, but the URL for 11 years. And then I just put the website up probably a year and a half ago. So I get some users, but they're all, I guess, organic. There's nobody that's actually found me on anything because I just don't advertise it on purpose because I got my irons and other fires. Plus, I have a 2-year-old up there and wife, so it's kind of kept me a little bit busy. So now that we moved in the South, my wife, we stopped good jobs, and my wife used to work at Google, so she don't work there now, obviously, since we live in Kentucky. So she's kind of found it hard to find a job here because she's been way overqualified, and as much as we could use a job, she just finally got hired in at a small tech company here. There's not a lot of tech in Western Kentucky.
Sure.
But she's working.
That's a nice background. It's cool that you got a little website going. That's, you know, it takes a lot. Usually when I work on a project, I only do it when I have a team, somebody that knows the ins and outs of the business and the industry, while I can focus on my expertise, which is just, you know, the SEO. And my best friend since high school actually is my business partner in this mobility scooter.
Cool. That's very good. That's very, very good. You know, I looked at that website because my wife just had hip replacement surgery a year ago. So I actually rounded, I believe, the website that you have because that's what I found online.
Yeah, we focus on just the two categories: the electric wheelchairs and mobility scooters. The other categories like the lift systems and the ramps, it's a work in progress right now. We're constantly going in there and updating the products, but there's so many products in the major two categories alone. I think there's like 700 that it's hard to work on the other categories at the same time.
Right. Now the actual website is, I typed it in, but I'm using a different computer now. Let's see. Is it mobilityscootersdirect.com?
Yep.
One second.
That's the one. So I have kind of like for training, there's basically 3 different softwares that you'll kind of want to use. Well, actually 2, and then one's the website. And the first one is obviously the call tracking software. We use Call Tracking Metrics, which is similar to CallRail. Have you ever used those before?
1 second.
No problem.
Is it scooter or scooters?
Scooters.
Ah, okay, I see. 7748 phone number.
The number is dynamic according to what traffic source you use.
Oh, look at that. Okay. Mobility Scooters Direct. Okay. Proceed. Sorry about that.
No problem. So essentially there's a couple of different things which you kind of have to get familiar with, but you know, first I just want to talk about the overall opportunities, kind of set the expectations and tell you what the opportunities are like. Mm-hmm. You know, I have a gentleman who's about 60, 55, who used to work with me at my marketing agency when we had an office. About 3 years ago, I had a partner who we didn't see eye to eye on a bunch of things. He was a little bit more of a free spirit, if you will, and liked to go out and party a lot. And we just didn't see eye to eye on things. So I ended the partnership, but we had an office with 5 different project managers, a lot of content writers, a lot of employees. And one of them was a really good guy who I went fishing with, you know, got to know on a family level. When we split up, he ended up going to take a job somewhere else. A couple of years went by, And just about 6 months ago, I reached back out to him and I said, hey, you know, our sales department for the Mobility Scooters Direct website is really growing. And now he's basically, and we told him, you know, hey, as the website grows, you know, you'll notice that there's more opportunities and more demand for you. He's just working part-time, probably around 10 to 15 hours a week, and full-time job. And it's pretty easy for him to manage both jobs because he works at a digital marketing agency and he just does sales remotely for that company. You know, it's not one of those jobs that you're constantly busy. You're working big leads and prospects, and it takes sometimes 6 months to close a deal. You travel to their office and things like that. So with sales, he basically sales for the mobility scooter company. And he works from home. He loves it. He's able to generate, usually when he works, if it's not, you know, sometimes it's slow. But when it's not slow, he usually makes at least 1 or 2 sales per shift. And he doesn't really do the best at following up opportunities because he's got a family. He's the man of the household. And, you know, he's usually got some personal things he has to attend to. But some of the scooters that he sells are $300 to $400 profit. The heavy duty ones get closer to $1,000 profit. So ultimately, you're not going to make a huge amount of money, probably even a living working a couple of hours a day doing this. But if you are looking for a way to supplement your income, have a really low stress job that doesn't really require any training, and it's really just a matter of reaching out to me on Facebook and saying, hey, Sergio, I'm available. If you don't mind, can I work a few hours? I'll tell you, hey, yes, no, or, you know, basically that's it. So if you're looking for something kind of reliable in terms of hours, it's really not that reliable. It just so happens that right now we desperately need somebody to take over while all of our South Floridian reps are going to be out of power. It's inevitably going to happen.
All right. My daughter's looking at me and asking me questions. Honey, you mind grabbing Temperance? Sorry about that.
No problem. But what I was segueing into was, you know, if you end up liking it and you're able to work some hours on the weekends, it's kind of going to be the same thing that it would be for my friend that I was telling you about. You could reach out to me on Facebook and say, hey, Sergio, I've got a few hours today on Saturday around, you know, the afternoon time. Would you mind? And my business partner and I and our sales guy, Scott, we don't really have a huge sales staff. I log in from 7 to about 10 in the morning, and then my business partner does, and then the sales guy takes over. Business partner who does the same thing with us. So we're all kind of just doing what we have to do, bootstrapping the heck out of this business to make it work. And you know, if you wanted to be part of that bootstrap type of startup environment, that's really just with one guy who really knows the ins and outs of medical equipment, because he used to do repairs and service and installation for about 7 years.
I see.
So he really knows the product. If you ever have a question, you could always reach out to me or him. And, you know, we've been doing this for a while, so we can generally just instant response via Facebook or Google Hangouts, the answer that you need to, you know, tell the customer who's asking you about some sort of specification of a wheelchair. Hours out, we're not going to be there. But in the future, if you wanted to take on some hourly work over the weekends, hey, as long as you're, you know, working and making a few deals, you know, and it's not just costing us money to hire you, then we're more than happy to do it.
Yeah, that's you know, sounds reasonable to me. Is this a situation where people, do you forward the calls, or are there leads that I call on, or exactly how do you guys receive your lead?
Great question. So we have a pretty strong organic presence on Google, and we do some marketing on Facebook. We do some email marketing. So every day it varies. We get, on a bad day, I would say 20 calls. On a good day, about 50.
Okay.
And the chats are also always going crazy. The live chat feature that we use on our website is very popular.
Okay.
And a lot of sales come from that. sales guy and my business partners usually try to get the chats to turn into a phone call, because it's a lot easier to get a deal out of a call than it is a chat.
Right.
You'll notice people will ask you on the chat messenger, hey, what is the ground clearance for this scooter? And unfortunately, our demographic, our audience, they're usually senior citizens or in general just not really computer savvy. So
sure.
They don't know that they can click on a category page or use the search field or select, the different filter options to find the product and then go to the specifications to learn about it or read the user.
That's exactly what I thought it would be like. A more mature audience out there looking for something who's not computer savvy, somebody that can, click through a website, get the specs, information, let them know, kind of talk with them, be friendly with them. Usually people buy from people they like. So it's been in sales for 25 years. It's not hard. It kind of comes naturally for me, but I can tell that there would be a mature audience that not completely computer savvy, like you say. As long as you hold their hand, walk them through and answer some questions, it seems like that's a pretty reasonable way to accomplish a sale. Now, how do you guys track your sale? I mean, obviously somebody who sells something or whatnot would get credit of some sort. How do you guys track that?
So the way we're doing it now is whenever someone becomes a sales rep, we set them up as an administrator on the email side to receive transactional emails. So if you're working a guy named, Scott, and you're expecting the sale tomorrow or the next day, whenever it happens, you're going to get the email of the receipt sales that come through essentially. So you'll have to basically just keep track of the sale when it comes through.
Okay.
We give you a spreadsheet on Google Drive that's on the cloud, so everybody has access to the spreadsheet. You can just put the purchase order number and the amount and some basic information like the make and model of the wheelchair, so that we can go in and we check the invoice after the manufacturer sends us what our cost is. We plug that into the field that will be subtracted from the amount it was sold for, and calculates the profit for you. The gross net, the net profits essentially off the top, what they paid versus what we pay with the shipping cost and the cost that the manufacturer charges us for the unit. Like I said, it usually breaks down to about $400 on average per unit sold. Of our keywords that we rank really well for on a national level related to heavy-duty mobility scooters, heavy-duty power wheelchairs, and those are the ones that generate the beefier profits. So,
sure.
So that's kind of how we track the commissions. I'll share a template spreadsheet with you, and you would just have emails and kind of have, like any salesperson would, a running log of who their leads are that they're working. In the call tracking software, there's a really, neat set of features that allows you to stay organized with the callers and quickly find out if the person who's calling in real time has already called before or not, the notes that you have from the previous calls. So it's a good, CRM for keeping track of leads, and it has a VoIP system built into it. So you can answer calls with the software. You can make calls with the software as long as you have what you're using now, a microphone and a speaker set on your computer.
Yeah. Normally I would have a headset, something that doesn't create any type of feedback. You're using a voice over IP, so I want to make sure that the audio sounds good when people call. So, and of course it's helpful not to have a accent from another location out of country.
So, a lot of our competitors do outsource overseas, and the prospects that call us are not always, but sometimes you get a sense of relief. Like, oh, finally, I got somebody, and you're actually American. Wow.
Right. Yeah, and that can go a long way when it comes to breaking the ice and being friendly with people.
Absolutely. Some of the main rebuttals you'll have to go over, which I'll tell you so you can kind of be ready for them. We don't have a storefront. A lot of people, we show up nationally when you type in mobility scooters. So they're like, where are you located? You say, oh, well, storefront, we actually have an online presence nationally. We get the products shipped directly from the manufacturer's warehouse. We don't staff a lot of employees in a normal showroom like most people do, so we pass those savings on to you. And what we tell them is, even if you did find a local store, they're probably only going to carry 5 models, maybe 10 different models at most, whereas we have over 300 different mobility scooters, 300 different wheelchairs, and we get it shipped to you within 3 to 5 days right from the manufacturer with the warranty. So most of the people, they're pretty open to that, and they end up, getting into the conversation with you, and they say, well, you're probably right to buy a unit I don't really like because of the lack of inventory at a local store.
Right, right. Now they're going to ask where it comes from and how long does it take for shipping?
So the general rule of thumb is 3 to 5 business days. If it was ordered before 12:30 Eastern time, it ships the same day. In most cases, you always want to put the "in most cases" at the end of every
cases, right? So there's a USA warehouse that these are shipping from, or are these actually being? How's it getting there within 5 days? If it's probably
that's a good. And I have to show you an example of how the Mobility Scooters forum works, because the forum is going to be your best friend when it comes to sales and getting answers. Let's see here. So on the forum, if you wanted to say, find out how long will it take for a scooter to ship, and let's say you're looking for answers on a specific manufacturer, because it all depends on which manufacturer the scooter is or the wheelchairs that the person's interested in.
That makes sense.
Usually what I tell them right off bat is, sir, ma'am, it all depends on, the manufacturer's distribution centers and the inventory of the product that you're interested in. If it's located in the warehouse that's closest to you, it'll ship from there. And if the inventory is, not there at that location, then it's probably at a different distribution point. But general rule of thumb, 3 to 5 business days, it ships the same day if you order before 12:30.
What's the longest time?
The longest time?
Yeah. What would be like the worst case scenario? 2 weeks or a week and a half? 10 business days?
I would say the worst case scenario that I've seen is it's usually because of a mix-up that the customer and the freight forwarder, because these are big units, they ship with a pallet.
Right.
It's a logistics. Right. They sometimes have to schedule an appointment to make sure that they can receive the box and let them in the door and leave this thing on the doorstep.
Right. Now, are there any limits to shipments? I mean, if people live in a condoplex or whatnot, is there any limits to the truck getting into them? I mean,
no, but they do have the option to get in-house or white glove delivery. Generally speaking, they get free shipping, and that's just going to get somebody to ring their doorbell, get the signature, and leave it at their front door.
Got it.
Now, if they want to pay extra to get the white glove delivery service, that just means someone is going to show up that's a manufacturer representative, show them how to use it, basically answer any questions that they have about it, and give them the royal treatment, and also throw away the box. And has that option. Certain manufacturers have it, certain manufacturers do not. It would be an option in the checkout process. It would be listed there as a shipping method upgrade.
Right. Okay. Pretty good.
And what I was trying to show you on the FAQ here, if you type in questions like how long will it take, it'll start giving you all these answers that have some sort of answer related to that. So if it's a mobility scooter made by Pride Mobility, or if it's made by a different company like Solax, you can kind of find the different answers here. We're trying to build answers for every manufacturer, but there's a lot of manufacturers.
Sure.
So like this one, for example, is Drive Medical. If you click on it, you can kind of see, all right, well, sir, ma'am, here are all the distribution centers for Drive Medical. Depending on where they have that particular unit stocked, here's where it'll ship from.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's got a lot of good information here.
Yeah. It's you can control find, their city or something that may be closer.
Yep, and like I said, the user or the forum section is really going to help you out. It breaks down into 2 different sections. It's got the knowledge base, which is basically stuff that the website administrators add, and then the forum is past customers and web users that have found our forum and registered and created their own posts and questions and stuff like that.
All right. That's something I can research and look at and get familiar with beforehand.
Yeah, and as far as the online store section, like the main section of the website, there's a couple of different things that I usually do to get ready for a call. You know, first I want to find out, you know, is it a scooter or is it a wheelchair? And the two main tabs here kind of outline the different subcategories, but I usually go to the main category and start using filters from there. So I would just click on this main tab and get to the main mobility scooters page. Unless they told me already, I'm looking for a Pride mobility scooter. And, you know, I want to find one that's got a 400-pound weight capacity. At that point, I would go to the shop by brand and then drill down on the Pride mobility logo to look at all the Pride mobility scooters and start filtering from there. Either which way you go about it, if you go to the shop by brand or you click on the main mobility scooter section, you could still just put a filter for brand Pride mobility. It's the same concept. You'll get the same results you see here.
Right.
You know, the first thing I kind of do is start segmenting the products by brand or category. And in this case, we have Pride mobility as the brand. And if they want to find out what scooters have a weight capacity that's above 400 pounds, we just drop that filter selection in there, and voila. So we can, you know, start asking them, you know, well, there's a couple of different options. We have a few 3 wheels, 4 wheels. You know, what's your budget like? Do you want to keep it above or below 2,000? Because that's, you know, what we're looking at.
All right, bro.
And as we drill down, the description underneath all the pictures, which you can check out, a lot of the times they'll ask you, hey, does this unit break down easily so I could put it in my trunk? And usually there's a picture of how it breaks down.
Right.
And then if you go down to the description section, all of this is really SEO content. It's good content, but
yeah,
the truth of the matter is the only thing you really need from here is the user manual links and the product brochure links.
The user manual links. Oh, yeah, right there. Right. Oh, that's easy enough.
Yep. So if you wanted to really find out stuff that's not listed here on the specs tab, this is all the main metrics and specifications that people are going to ask about, the most popular stuff. Now, if the answer is not here, usually if you go to the user manual, you'll find just about everything there.
Right.
It's going to take a little, like you said before, Control F.
Sure.
Skimming of the table of contents. If some of the PDFs, the way they're entered, they don't allow you to do a quick search with Control F, unfortunately. Most do. Yeah. So that's basically, you know, like you said, it's not really one of these sales roles that requires significant product knowledge. Would it help? Absolutely. And over time, you're going to gain it. But you know, these are the areas that you want to go to. The common rebuttals to, do you have a store location? That's really common. The insurance question, which is, you know, simply the answer is no, but you can turn it around by letting them know how insurance works. And more often than not, an insurance provider is only going to cover something very, very basic that goes 3 miles per hour. So if the user's looking for something that's got a little speed, or they want something that has bells and whistles, insurance isn't going to cover it. They don't want to come out of pocket a lot.
Right. So do you guys have something for a minimalistic like that?
We do, but we don't.
In case they're bent on, I mean, you more likely there'll be a selected amount of people that are on a super fixed income, but when they're looking at something between $1,500 and $1,900, you know, there might be, I would assume, a lot of people that just want something for the convenience.
Yep. So we have to pretty much find out if they're bent on using insurance, and if they are, we said, unfortunately, we don't take insurance, and not many companies do.
Yeah. Okay.
If you just, and in fact, if you're going to use insurance, you're usually required to do a evaluation in person with the provider that's going to give it to you. So tell them, if they're absolutely going to use insurance, is go to Google, type in wheelchair company near me, and start asking everybody locally if they take insurance.
Right.
Get them off the phone because they're not qualified. But if they're kind of showing interest that says, well, maybe I don't want to use insurance because I was looking at the Pride Victory 10 and, you know, it's expensive. It's got a speed of over 5 miles per hour, which is insurance companies are going to cover, then you can start working the deal and you know, converting it into an actual qualified insurance, you know, lead that is no longer going to be insurance.
Got it. Got it.
All the time.
Okay, very good. This is pretty much where I figured it would be. So this is good. Now, how do you guys? Are you W-9 people? How do you do that?
Yep, we use Gusto. We were using ADP to do direct deposit, but we found that they were way too expensive for what they offer and what we actually use. So we just switched over to Gusto.com, which is a competitor. Same technique. It handles direct deposit, which we pay out on the 1st of every month. Essentially, we ask that you have, you know, your spreadsheet always up to date. We have a template that basically just allows you to put how many hours you work for the day. And we go off the honor systems in a way, but at the same time, every single chat and call that you take will be monitored and all log and the chat transcript log. So we're very easily able to see if our salespeople are jerking our chain, not working or not, which I doubt is going to be a problem here, but that is essentially how we track the hours. We rely on you.
To have some system to do that.
Yeah, it's nothing, you know, technical. Just give me a quick chat if you want to work on weekends. Otherwise, I'll assume that, you know, as you go, you could just fill out your spreadsheet and put how many hours you worked for that day.
Do you have like normal days which are more active, or times during the day? Because, you know, in doing this, I'd hopefully would get to talk to a good numerous amount of people. So
it's hit or miss. Honestly, it's very dynamic. The schedule is not like on Friday. It's not like that. It's throughout the week.
So there's not a general tendency that people tend to call like a Monday or Friday or something.
Not really. It fluctuates. Now I can tell you there are some slow times which will be in the morning from about 7 to 9, 9:30. And sometimes, again, it can get busy those times, but usually it's slow. And then at nighttime from like 9:30 to midnight, which you would think on the West Coast you'd get some activity, but not really.
Right. Now, so another quick question is, when everything gets up and rolling and I got a program and things, I put my headset on, is it you just wait for a text and wait for a phone call? Or? So
you'll have to have 2 different internet tabs open. One is going to have the call tracking software open, and the other one's going to have the chat software open. You will get notifications, audio notifications, and pop up if you're using Google Chrome for the call tracking. And for the chat, it's just going to be an audio notification, and on your tab where you can see I'm hovering my mouse, where it has different tabs open. Actually, if you send a message right now on the website, you'll see it. If you want to try that on my tab, it'll start showing like a little red button that says one chat message received.
A message on live chat.
Yeah, if you go to the website and send me a message via the live chat feature, which should pretty much be popping up after being on the site for 60 seconds. I don't know if you've already been on it, but if not, just click the live chat logo at the top and you'll see it's going to give me a little chime. You might be able to hear it. It was really low actually, but it just went off. Now, if you look at my mouse, you can see it says 2 messages received with a little red number 2.
I see. Right.
Just muffled the sound because it's using the Hangout as the primary audio source right now, but there was a slight little like a bubble type of.
Yep. Heard it.
So if you look here, I'm opening up the live chat. Here we go. So I've got the message from Kevin. What is the weight factor on a scooter? It also says what page you're looking at. Basically what location you're in here.
Okay, great. Good.
So I'm able to see, a couple of things like, hey, you're a Mac guy.
Right.
We'll put it past you.
What's that?
I won't put it past you though. It's okay. We'll forgive you.
Oh, don't worry. The reason why I mentioned before, I was on my Lenovo earlier and didn't have all this plugged up. I have a MacBook Pro. I was able to bring downstairs out of my office.
I'm just messing, but I'm technically supposed.
I don't know if you're an Apple guy or Mac guy, but we're a multi-OS system here.
So am I. It's okay. My girlfriend's Mac, and I have to be a Droid user because of Google. But
yeah, me too.
There's some cool stuff you can see here on the right. You can actually see the history of all the pages that they visited. So you can kind of start to see if there's a pattern. Maybe they're looking at a bunch of heavy duty units or a bunch of folding units for traveling,
Right.
and kind of understand the visitor's intent. This is very straightforward. That's it. So all of the active users are on the left-hand side here, and any of the live chats that you've initiated or that you've received messages will be here as tabs at the bottom. If the visitor has already left the page, it'll say so right here, and then you can close that tab out. Any live chat.
With the visitors on the left-hand side, what is that again?
These are all the active users on the website.
Oh, these are what? These are people out there right now.
Yep. As you can see, there's quite a lot
that's going on. Now, are these active chats, or these are just active people that are on the site right now?
Just people on the site.
Okay. So when you see people on the site, can you get on there and say, hey, I saw you looking at a few things, can I help you?
You can, but there is an automatic greeter that shows up after, I believe, 90 seconds of being on the website that says, gives a polite introduction that says, hey, I'm here for you if you have any questions at all. And already kind of
all right,
one way to tick somebody off. So if you go back and say, hey, I'm here again, they might sometimes get a little, offensive, thinking you're aggressive. I get that feedback sometimes. So I try to just let the auto greeter do its thing and wait for incoming chats.
All right. Sounds fine. Sounds fine. So this, what I'm looking at right now with the bird feeder there and the recent conversations, this is pretty much what I would get on my computer.
Yep, exactly what you would get on your computer. We would set a user account for you, and you would be able to log in, and this is exactly what you would see. There's just one little step to get here. You would go to chat.olark.com. I'll give you a username and password, and then once you log in, you're going to have to click on the accepting chats. Right now, it's set already,
right?
But this is what it looks like when you log in, kind of like nighttime effect. So if you want to walk away for lunch or take a bite to eat, you just hit that, and it says not available, so that the auto greeter doesn't take place.
Got it. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. So that's the chat. So that's the chat session, which is pretty easy. Nice that it uses cookies and saves what people have been through. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how about when somebody calls? How does that get to my headset?
Well, that's next. It's a little more intricate than the chat, but we'll probably be able to breeze through it since you're pretty web savvy here.
Really?
So there's a site. It's a software that all they do is call tracking for basically marketing purposes and tracking and reporting. So this is the software, and this is the page that you'll always want to be on. It's accessible by the main navigation here. You click on calls and then go to call log. You really don't need to go anywhere else in this system. This is your only place you need to be on.
All right.
And essentially, it works as a list of all the most recent calls that took place, the most recent being at the top. And you could scroll through and see all the other calls that took place earlier on today.
Is this my calls or other people's calls too?
This is all the calls.
All the calls, okay.
Yep. So as you can see, today it's not that busy, but we had a call at 450, 427, 353, 3, 250, 247. And well, I guess it has been a little busy. I've just been prepping the house. But essentially, the option when they call in to click number 1 for customer service on existing products if they're an existing customer, or 2 if it's a sales call. Now, don't let the customer service icon distract you or dissuade you, because a lot of the customers just they press 1, they press 2, and they don't even really need customer service.
They're going straight to 0.
Exactly. And if they don't press the right key, it'll come in without an icon and it'll start ringing anyway.
Okay.
Regardless of what they press, customer service or sales, it's going to go to the same 3 agents at the same time. So essentially, you're going to get the phone call. It's going to start ringing because you're logged in as an agent accepting calls. And anybody else that's there as a fail-safe, for example, me and my business partner, our cell phones are going to ring at the same time that your software is telling you that an incoming call is coming in.
Okay.
Whoever answers it first will take the call. During the hurricane, obviously, we're not going to be on, so you're going to only be the person able to take the calls.
Okay.
And in the future, we basically are always on chat or Facebook or Google Hangouts. So we all communicate with each other regularly and say, hey guys, I'm taking calls right now. Don't worry about staying on. And as soon as we're done, we always kind of chime into the group chat and say, hey guys, I'm logging out. You know, whoever's ready to take over, go ahead and take over. I got to go and do groceries or have dinner, you know.
Right. Okay.
So we all juggle it pretty well. It is getting busier and busier by the month, as I showed you in those analytics reports. So, you know, it's getting to that time now where I was talking to my business partners about you today in the earlier conversation that we had, and they were like, oh, that's great. It's better to have someone on standby than not.
Right.
And as we grow every month, you know, we may need you more often than, you know, now. So just, you know, kind of painting the picture for the future. But this is the software essentially. A couple of things that you'll want to learn how to do, which are very simple. As the call comes in, you're going to see a little pop-up. I'm already logged into the soft phone. So this little tab right here is my status. My status basically just tells me that I'm accepting calls. And if I want to stop to make a phone call, I click stop, and I have a dial pad. Everything is going to pop up and, you know, show you that your call just started, the timer starts, just like a cell phone.
Okay.
And essentially you can take notes when the call starts. There's a notes section that comes up. Okay. So when you add any notes, essentially what's going to happen is they're going to be added here in the call log as a little icon here of a notebook.
Okay.
These are notes. So let's say a call's coming in, and it's going to show up on this little mini tab here as an incoming call. It says answer or decline. So usually what I do before I hit answer, I very quickly will click on the phone number that shows up here, because it's going to show up here and to say answer or decline. But on the call log, it's going to show active call. And the first thing I do is I click on the phone number to see if they've called before.
I see.
And if they have, there will be several lines, not just one. Hey, can I put you on a quick little hold that my girlfriend's trying to ask you a question?
Go ahead.
One. Sorry about that, Scott.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so as the call's coming in, the first thing I like to do is kind of just click on the phone number, which again, it'll show up at the top here as a live call. On the left, it'll say answer instead of call back. That's how you know. And it's blinking in green to indicate that it's a live call.
Okay.
So you can answer it here, or you can click on the answer button that shows up in the status box. Either way.
Does that just come up as a pop-up?
Will pop up on the bottom right. We can do a live example, but I'm telling you, it's going to look exactly like this line here that's highlighted, but on the left, it'll be blinking green, and it'll say answer instead of call. So the first thing I'll do is, let's see if we can maybe click on one that's happened before. This one here, I know they've called multiple times. So if it was the first one on the list, Levine Gregory, I would click on the number and see, oh, okay, well, this guy's called a lot of times. Let's look at the ones that have notes. Like one of the earlier ones where customer tried checking out, no order in her system, advised to call American Express. He will call us back after speaking with them. Can't log into his account. Here's some other notes. So I essentially just get familiar with the history of the caller as I answer and introduce myself. And if we know he's already an existing customer, you know, as a salesperson, I don't expect you to answer the call. If it's already been closed and they say already purchased from us, then, you know, don't answer the call. You know, if you're busy taking sales calls, I'd rather you handle that than a customer service call.
Right.
Okay. You make that decision at your discretion. If you want to send us a quick chat to say, hey, an existing customer's calling, I'm busy with sales, let us know. That would be appreciated. But other than that, you know, we try to focus on the sales more so than the customer service, because in reality, Kevin, our service usually is complaints from customers that in some way, shape, or form have damaged their scooter on their own. These products are really reliable, but our customers are not. They don't know what they're doing and they mess up their products. They call back and try to blame us. But reality of the matter is they know that they have to just file a warranty claim with the manufacturer, which if you read the user manual and they get the customer receipt email, they check the terms and conditions, they know they can file a claim with the warranty, either through us or the manufacturer.
Okay.
So if you do run into a situation like that, you can just say, hey, I'm just a sales rep. I would be glad to forward your request over to a customer service agent who right now they're all busy at the time and they'll get back to you right away. Find out the person's name, send me or my business partner who I'll get you on a live group chat with, and we'll take care of it for you.
Okay.
During the hurricane, you could always just say, hey, during the hurricane, our customer service center's in Florida. You have to forgive us, but they're not in, operations right now until further notice.
Okay. I see numbers, reporting, calls, and texts. Tabs at the top. So we're in the calls section right now.
Yep.
What's the reporting? What's the reporting section?
Well, you really don't need any of that.
Okay, so calls and texts is what we're looking at.
Just call log under
just
call.
Log. Okay. Very good.
That's one place you're really going to have to go to. And a couple of things on the left, the first column, you have the customer's name on the caller ID, the phone number, location, and the tag, whether it's sales or customer service.
Okay.
So
what's the little green icon? Little head at the very left right there. What does that say? Edit?
Yep. So you can go in here and access the notes section.
Oh,
which is down. You can change the number or add an address, or maybe go to the if you want to score the call. This is for your, as a salesman, you want to be able to take track and actually qualify your leads versus non-qualified leads. So what we usually do is, if it's a qualified lead that's worth following up, what we do is we mark it as converted. So we know it's not just a crappy call, but an actually quality lead.
Okay.
And if you want to give it a rating to know that in the future, hey, if you guys want to work it, or if I want to go back through my call log when it's slow,
right?
Calls that have a 5-star rating to follow up with them, then I'll use this scoring system. Right. And my business partners and our salesperson at the time we're using this, but we also get sidetracked sometimes, and we don't take full advantage of it. But it's a great system that you can incorporate. And if you get a sale, what I always do is I put the sale amount here. That allows me to, number one, if the caller calls back and I click the number, I'm going to see that it was already closed and there's a revenue amount entered there. So you can quickly see, hey, this is one of my customers that I sold, or somebody else already sold this. Maybe I don't need to answer it. And, it's going to show up there as $1,000 and it converted with a 5-star. So you can see here at the top now, as the calls start coming in, we can scroll down and look for any calls that have that 5-star or 4-star rating, which again, we're not all using it. We get sidetracked. We're doing a bunch of things while on the calls, and sometimes we don't mark them, more often than not. But
okay, so I see everything going on here. This is what everybody is doing.
The calls, yep. These are all the calls.
This is what everybody. So is there certain ones that people are responsible for, or certain ones that people have a claim to, or whatnot?
So the way it works is basically like I was mentioning earlier. When we're logged in, we let our group chat know that we're logging in. When we log out, we let our group chat know that we're logging out. In terms of having, claiming a sales opportunity and letting people know that, hey, I got a deal that's about to come in.
Right.
What we've established as a rule for now is just send us an email or a chat that says, hey, I'm working a deal, so that if the next person who's on the calls receives a phone call and they say, hey, I'm ready to place my order, and you take it, technically the salesperson who spent the 20-30 minutes on that call should be getting that credit.
Right.
As long as you put in some sort of chat or email that says, hey, or some sort of mark on the call tracking system that says, hey, I spoke to this gentleman, he's going to buy at a later time when he's ready, then essentially that's your lead. So we'll pay out that lead to you. So we haven't really ran into a situation where a salesperson takes a call and has to spend an additional 30 minutes, but the previous salesperson already spent 30 minutes on the call. If we do run into that situation, we're very fair and amicable people. What we'll most likely just do is say, split the commission with Scott if you both, work that deal together.
All right. Okay. And how long have you been in business, Sergio?
With this company, we've been in business for coming up to 3 years, a little bit over 3 years now, maybe give or take a month or two.
All right, and let's see here. So, so you guys will let the group know that you're on, and then that's a sign. What's that a sign for? You guys will take the calls.
So if anybody is logged in, we have a little schedule between us internally that we try to follow, which I'll show you here.
Okay.
I had it open. Let's see here. Hours. So basically, with flexibility, of course, because we all have things going on, and I usually stay on from 7 to midnight, not just from 7 to 9 p.m. But
right.
Jason's one of the business partners. Drew's the guy who actually is the technician for several years, and that's now the business partner, and then me. Fair and cover as much as possible. And Scott, sometimes he does a few more hours. He shows up early and does 4 to 7 or 4 to 8. But for the most part, we're all kind of tackling these hours regularly. And then the weekends, we don't really take calls on the weekends, which is a shame. If I have the time and I'm home, I'll do it. Same with my business partners. But I enjoy our family time because we not only operate this company, but we have the other things going on. And we work pretty much from the minute we wake up to the minute we fall asleep Monday through Friday.
Okay.
So weekends are clear for now, like I mentioned to you. So if you like it and you want to pick up some extra hours on the weekends, it sounds like just talking to you, you're a pretty articulate person, pretty intelligent. So I don't doubt that you'll do a good job at sales. And if you want to take on the extra hours on the weekends, I'm confident my business partners and I would be more than happy to take your offer for support.
Oh, very good. Now, so it's just weekends, right? For now?
Weekends are open. Yep, for now.
Okay. And let's see, and it's from usually hot is from probably after 10 o'clock and up to 5, right?
I would even say until about 7. From
about
like
7.
From like
then,
7.
You guys pay by the hour. Is that by active hour or by sign-in hour?
Sign-in hour, essentially. There's really never a dull moment when you're logged into the calls and chats.
That's good.
You're going to get activity.
Okay.
Right now it's about 8 o'clock. So like I told you, we're actually, and the storm coming in, I'm sure, is playing a role on the slow time. But right now it's been pretty dead for the last about hour. Much quiet. So that goes to show you that these times at night are pretty slow. But earlier on, if you look at the call log and the chat transcript, you can see we've had some pretty decent activity up until about 5 o'clock.
Okay, so theoretically, we'll just throw it out there. I work this weekend. I come, I get my morning routine, and I come in at 1 o'clock. I'm like, hey, look, Serge, I'm good from 1 to 8 tonight. And then you say, okay, Kev, is that how it goes? Like I sign on, and then get on at 12:30 or 1, and then talk and sell and do what I have to do to close the sale until 7 or 8 or whatever that is. Is that kind of how it goes?
Exactly, and we can get you set up with an email so that you can have your own email to work with and follow up with customers that's hosted on the Mobility Scooters Direct domain, and get you your own unique login for the chat and the call tracking. Essentially, this weekend we're going to be out of power, so I won't be able to tell you, hey, it's okay to log in. You're essentially able to log in whenever you want, document your hours. And when the power's back up, I'm going to be able to log in, check your spreadsheet that says I worked from these hours to these hours, and cross-reference the activity on the phones. I'm sure you're going to be, having some calls, and everything's going to be very transparent here with our chat software, call log, and all that. So it's up to you. You can log in whenever you want, from Saturday morning all the way until probably, Monday. If you don't hear from me, that means my power's out and I can't tell you, we're taking over the phones.
Right. Okay. And how many other people do you guys have working with you? Have been working with you?
Right now, it's a total of 5 people, including our IT administrator and programmer slash all around web developer genius who requires a lot of our attention.
Sure.
But essentially, it's him, my business partner, who was a service technician for a long time before my marketing agency business partner and I decided to start a business with him. So it's 3 business owners, a salesman, and a IT slash web developer.
So it's basically that page you showed me on the Google Drive, the hours. Was that everybody?
Except for the web developer, yep.
Except for the web developer. Oh, okay, okay. For some reason, I was thinking there was like 16, 17 people. So it's
very, very bootstrapped company that's, you know, being efficient as heck. You can see a lot of the business is automated, and it goes down the back end as well. When a customer places an order, the beautiful part about it is the fulfillment side is pretty much automated, so that the manufacturer rep company gets an email with the purchase order and the information, the customer shipping address, so they get to work right away on fulfillment and sending out the product, getting us our tracking number. So there's really no fulfillment department needed. There's really not that much of a need for customer service at the end of the day, because these products are very well built. We push the manufacturers that are very reputable. And just so you know, if you want to take a note of that, the top 3 manufacturers are Pride Mobility, Golden Technologies, and Drive Medical. They have been around for about 20 years minimum each, and with every purchase, they provide a service contract. So if anything goes wrong, they send a technician out to your home at no additional cost for the first year. And that's a pretty big pain point, because a lot of these individuals will not really take good care of their batteries, which is the most common problem.
Right.
They're dead. And if you know how most batteries work, that can kill you.
Not good for them.
Yep. So whenever they usually call, it's that, if it's a customer service related call or request. And, you know, we try to just direct them to monsterscooterparts.com to get replacement parts, because we don't make any money. And as a sales rep, $20, $30 profit's not going to make anything for you. It's a waste of time. So if they do call for small parts, if it's not something like a brand new motor or a hand controller, those are pretty much the only 2 parts that are worth the time. Just direct them to monsterscooterparts.com.
Okay.
And
all right.
That pretty much, you know, is the majority of the business and how it operates. We just went over in probably less than an hour.
All right, buddy. Listen, let's do it. Go ahead and make your provision on how to get me hooked up with the things, the tools I need. I know you guys are a little bit of a time limit about what's going to go happen this weekend. Give me my page where you want me to sign in and sign out. I will review this video. I think the only thing, I don't really have too much questions. I know we covered an awful lot.
We did. I'm just reviewing my little agenda.
It's now 7 o'clock.
Oh, sorry about that. That was my phone.
No problem. My computer. But so just to make sure, we covered those things here. The call log, you know how to get in there.
Right.
You know how to logging into the soft phone. Oh, that's one other thing here. So when you first go into the call tracking metrics website, it's just very simple. You click login, put in your username and password, and then just click on the calls and go to call log. Now, once you're there,
where was the login tab?
it's going to be on the homepage of call. Let me pull it up so you're familiar. It's just like any website. Top right, login.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Call tracking metrics.
So this.
Okay.
I'm going to send you an email, the same exact email I sent to Scott when he got hired, which is basically a step-by-step guide on how to get logged in and situated. So you'll have everything.
Sounds good.
I'll take care of you. Not in the dark. Don't worry, Kevin.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just trying to gather as much information in case I come untethered for a while with you guys.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna send you a follow-up email. You know, don't be surprised if it comes in really late or tomorrow, but I'll do everything that you need so that, like I said, you're ready to hit the ground running. I won't take your time now because I know you're busy and it's been an hour already. But essentially, I'll show you how to log into the call tracking, get your account set up, get your email set up, and show you while I've got you. After you log in, you go to the call tab and then call log, and then the only other step you need to be familiar with is how to log into the VoIP system, which is very easy. There's a big blue button at the top right that says phone.
Yep.
Let me log out so I can show you how to log back in here. Stop accepting calls, click out. So again, once you're on the call log, you click on that big blue button that says phone.
Yeah.
And just click accept calls. And that's it. So now you're
in. Now, when you say when you click accept calls, are you looking for something to flash, or what's gonna happen?
So let me do a test. I'm gonna get on my phone right now, and I'm gonna call the website as if though I was a first-time website visitor.
Okay.
So you can see. You're not gonna be able to hear it because it's gonna muffle the sound of the other software, as I mentioned. But let's see here. I'm just on my cell phone hitting the call button now.
Hello, and thank you for calling Mobility Scooters Direct.
So it's already initiated on the call log, but since I haven't pressed 1 or 2 yet, it's not ringing.
Okay.
For troubleshooting your existing product, please press 1.
So I'm going to press 2 for sales.
Okay. So it's ringing.
Do you hear it?
So you just answer incoming call.
Yeah, you probably can't hear it ringing, but I hear it on my desktop ringing. And if you click answer incoming call here, or on the left where it was ringing, either way, it's going to answer the call.
Yeah, I can actually hear that. I can hear it.
Sometimes it'll ask you, are you sure you want to leave? Just hit yes. That means, that's the last step, and then it connects.
Oh, okay.
Oh, unfortunately, I got the voicemail because I waited too long. But
it's okay. But when it says, "Do you want to leave?" You want to leave that screen, and you just press yes.
Yes, because it's thinking, "Oh, you're on this screen. You're not on the dialer." Yeah,
right.
Just hit yes right away.
So
and
that's simple, easy peasy.
I think you just have to disable a notification preference to get that to go.
No problem.
But that's pretty much everything, And like I said, if you move forward, which you said you are, I'm going to set you up with an email on the transaction email. So if an order goes through, you're going to get the receipt. So every time you see that email, just make sure you check and cross-reference to make sure, hey, this is a call that I was working. I got to put it in my commission tracking template, which I'm going to send to you.
Mission tracking template.
Commissions.
Oh, commission. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So the template in Google Drive will be like a Excel spreadsheet that just has the header column for purchase order number,
got it,
customer name, revenue, and we'll fill in the profit numbers and get that sorted out when the manufacturer sends us our invoice.
Okay, buddy. Sounds good to me.
All right, Scott. Well, awesome. I'm glad we got you on board. At least we have some support during the time that the power's out. I'd like to chat with you more about how you're in drones and see what kind of setups you've got too one day.
Yeah, it's Kevin actually, not Scott.
I keep doing that. Sorry about that. Our other sales guy, his name is Scott. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it, Marvin. It's good. Now, okay, Serge. Sounds good, buddy. So, well, listen. Yeah, we'll talk more drones a little later on. But as it stands right now, I think I'm good to go with this, and we'll give it a we'll give it a boot and whirl. So, send me that information, and let's see. Oh my gosh, today's Thursday already. Are you guys gonna rock and roll with the storm Saturday or Friday?
Well, we'll get you introduced in the live chat so that we can give you updates. But I'm thinking the storm's going to hit Saturday pretty hard in the morning. It'll probably be bad enough to get power out.
Yeah.
So Friday night, tomorrow night, we should already have a live group chat session initiated with Google Hangouts to where you can chat with me and my business partners. And essentially, as soon as we're no longer active, you can assume power's out for them. Time for me to work.
Have you got any response from your modest post saying, anybody that could help type of deal? That's how I found you, by the way.
Yeah, no, we did. We got another friend of mine that he's not really got the best internet where he is, and he doesn't have access to a reliable computer right now. So I don't really want to go up that route because the VoIP system requires pretty good internet connection.
Right. I can actually test what I'm doing right now out of curiosity. Hold on 1 second.
Well, you should turn off the camera, the video camera, because that sucks up bandwidth.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my. Okay. Well, just 1 second.
If you're doing a speed test, you know, I would turn it off.
Since I'm on my MacBook Pro, I'm not exactly sure. The easiest way. Hold on. Let me go down to here to the little search finder. Out of curiosity, okay, camera.
Yeah, on the Google Hangouts interface where you can see me, you should be able to click the camera icon at the top to turn it off and on. The audio will still stay, so we can still talk.
You know what? Okay. Sounds like much better. Much better. 1 second. Okay, still there, I'm sure.
There you go.
All right, 1 second.
I just finished building a Kraken by Bolt RC. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah, Kraken. Wow, that's all right. I think I'm going to get into. I think I'm just going to go with the Chameleon. I just recently moved here, just some months ago. Well, gosh, more than 6 months ago, but I've been here a while apparently. But it's been